I've always dispute this. I don't know why COPA can't make the first 11 clear.
For me, I think the flop of the tournament is some people's goals. Cristiano Ronaldo. The thing is that a fully fit Thiago and Cantara and with an injury-free career will be ahead of Toni Kroos. Hello, wonderful guys. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the lovely podcast, Football or Nothing. And it has been a very exciting tournament at the Heroes. Thank God the Heroes has finally come to a close now. The Heroes, the Copa America. So we've got a lot of talking points that we'll be dissecting on the episode today. We'll be talking about what happened in the Heroes, how everything unfolded. Spain are the champions. We'll be discussing about the Copa America as well. Argentina are yet again back-to-back American champions. We'll be discussing about all of that as well, and I won't be doing all of that alone today. My name is Kane, your favorite host on this show, and I'm here with the controversial.
I'm no longer controversial. That's the way I have to address you. I'll give you that.
That's the proper introduction.
No problem. I'll give you that.
Controversial Prosper Westman, and I've got Heytrip as well.
The only man who hates Lewandowski.
The only man with Lewandowski. So, guys, I think we need to talk about the road to the Euros final. There are a lot of things that actually happened during the tournament. It was a very wonderful tournament. Let me even start. How would you rate the tournament, generally? How would you rate it?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give the Euros a 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah, it fell short of my expectation. That excitement was not there. That feel was not there. It was just I missed the AFCON. As a matter of fact, I missed the AFCON, but I'll give you a 3.5 just because they tried. Just because it was the event was there, but it never gave that what it used to. What it used to be. I feel like
a trip. How would you rate the Euros?
I'll give the Euros, let me say, a 5/10. Because at the beginning of the competition, I actually expected something better. Because a lot of teams in which we expected that they were going to do better, they end up disappointing us, and we actually I was very happy that the team that actually deserved it got it. But we expected a lot of teams to actually perform better, and they even perform below expectations.
Yeah.
The likes of France and such other teams.
Portugal.
Even a lot of players in which we were even thinking that we will see some special abilities in the competition. They even performed below expectations.
Below average.
So compared to AFCON, I'll give an Euros 5, and I'll even give AFCON 8/10.
Also talking about that exciting football that you guys are seeing, they did produce at the Euros. I think there was a standout game in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
that's the Spain versus Germany. Let's talk about that. That was a very intense game. Some people will argue that should have been the final.
Yeah, that was the final before the final. I remember I told a friend that the winner from this game is the actual winner of the Euros, because there is no obstacle. The two best teams
faced each other.
Yes, the two best teams from onset were Germany, Spain, and it was a case of anybody who sends the next person home goes home with the trophy. And that game was a proper game. It had everything you needed from the tactical point of view, because the Nigelsmann and the Spanish coach, De La Fuente, is the right man. Yeah, De La Fuente. Sorry, De La Fuente to the Spanish lad. Yeah, De La Fuente were two tactically sound coach. To the layman, it was a boring game, but tactically that was one of the most intense games in the Euros. So I enjoyed the game too. It gave everything it has to give.
Heytrip, do you think Germany were a little bit unfortunate, because statistics shows that their expected goal in the game is around 2.15, and for Spain it's just 1.4?
Actually, they are very right, because when we talk about the game, Spain actually played very well. They actually fought to the end. But when it comes to good football in the competition, Germany actually deserves the trophy for playing good football, because right from the start to the finish, they actually played well. And it's very unfortunate for them to meet Spain at that phase of the competition, because it would have been even more interesting if they had met in the likes of semi-finals and so on. Yeah. So I was even expecting a Spain-Netherlands final or Spain-Germany final. That would have justified everything. But, meeting them, both of them meeting at that phase of the competition, it was certain that Spain actually owns the competition, because those are the two best teams in the competition.
The major talking points of that game is Marco Curella's handball. I think the German fans are of the opinion that should have stood as a penalty.
Okay.
And I think during the semi-final, whenever Cucurella is on the ball, there is this boost coming from the stand.
Yes.
Do you think that's a pen?
It's a pen, but I think that's a pen.
That's a penalty.
That's a pen. I think it's a pen. It's a pen because I start to be corrected. I think there was an offside call also. I feel that was the reason it was not given.
So if you are saying it's a pen, that means Spain are not worthy to be champions.
Things happen in football. Most times, I've said it in this show. The day the referee goes your way, it goes your way, and the day it doesn't, that's it.
So to you, is that a number?
Actually, I don't feel disappointed because anytime this particular referee, Anthony Taylor, if I'm right, anytime he's on the field, he's always making mistakes about his decision, in which everybody knows this. I'm very certain no one is going to.
Yeah, that's right.
And I will remind you about there is an Europa League final. There was a problem between himself and Jose Mourinho. Mourinho had to wait for him at the
They have this. The English ref have this main character syndrome. They try to make the game more about themselves.
Yes,
because from the starting of the Euros, we were commending the officiating. Not until the English ref stepped in and everything just collapsed. And majority of the issues with officiating from these Euros has come from English ref also. It has come from English ref. So it just says a lot of how we struggle in the EPL with these people.
Yes. Because written clearly, that's Marc Cucurella handball is absolutely foul to the football world. We all know that it's absolutely foul. But what can we do? We can't help the situation. This is football, and the decision lies with the ref and the people at the VAR room. So when they say it's a yes, it's always a yes. We can all just keep complaining at the end of the game that no, this is a foul, this is not a foul, this and that. But anytime I see Anthony Taylor on the field, any decision that he makes, I know things are going to go wrong, even once or twice, and he actually needs to be sanctioned for that, because that is getting too much. For you to be on a big stage like that and you turning a deaf ear or a deaf eye, can I call it a blind eye to that kind of act, that shows you are unprofessional enough. And it's not today, it's not yesterday. We've been saying that over the years. So it needs to be sanctioned, because we've seen a situation whereby over the years this will happen, and as time goes on, maybe as time goes on, when Anthony Taylor retires, now we can keep hearing things that I remember that's been something.
So let's say Anthony Taylor was the biggest officiating headache of the tournament.
Yes.
So I think that there were a lot of other headaches.
Yes.
And let me say the German fans, they were scratching their head like, why is Kai Havertz played ahead of Nicolas Fulkrug?
I don't even. I even forgot. I forgot actually what happened, because that was not only in this Spain-Germany match Anthony Taylor made the error. There was a match he officiated. I think I actually watched it with you. Like, officiated, I was supposed to
consult the VAR,
and he decided to make his decision about the match, in which everything actually went wrong.
I didn't remember that part.
So it has always been like that. So I'm not surprised.
Let me put the question to you, Prosper Westman.
The Kai
Havertz question. That's your homeboy. That's your homie. Do you think I think when Fulkrug was called on during the Euros, I think he justified his selection.
Yeah.
Anytime he's called on from the bench, he's always giving them that target man in the box.
Always on point.
Some German fans are of the opinion that he should have started over Kai Havertz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Now, I would quote from Julian Nagelsmann himself.
Okay.
He said he has a clear job in many games, which he doesn't have to do more of the ball action. His major duty is to create space for others to run into and all of that. That was basically what Julian Nagelsmann said when he was trying to defend Kai Havertz. And in all of that, I felt it worked. But the thing is this, you have to be clinical. And Kai Havertz was not clinical against the Spanish team. I won't come here to
not
defend
even
my
enough.
boy.
He was not clinical.
He was not clinical against the Spanish team, because at the point here when football came in, you could see the threat of a proper traditional old number 9.
Yes.
It gives you that old school number 9 vibe. And Fulkrug also missed a sitter during the twilight of the game, but then again, Kai Havertz was not clinical enough. As a striker, your primary duty, in as much as the old tactical evolution and all of that, your primary duty as a number 9 is to score goals.
Yes.
And if you are not doing that, you are not there.
Yes.
So let's forget about Nagelsmann saying he was there to create space, make runs off the ball action, beat press and all of that. But I felt like Kai Havertz was, in terms of taking his chances and conversion rate, he was he was abysmal in this tournament.
So you will also agree that focus should have started ahead of Kai Havertz?
People always expect a lot from Kai Havertz, in which they shouldn't expect. You understand? Kai Havertz, to my opinion, is a system player. You understand? He's an Arteta system player. So when he's out there, he can do something else. Falkirk is far better. He's far ahead of Kai Havertz. He actually proved it like twice or thrice in this last Euros. Yeah. So I was even expecting him to start ahead of Kai Havertz. But I know the main reason why Kai is starting over him because of the type of formation and the type of system
yes.
in which Julian Nagelsmann wants to play.
Because in the 4-2-3-1 setup, you could see the way they rotate in the last line. Most times you see Kai Havertz in the number 10 position, Musiala as a striker. There was no
Florian Wirtz.
Exactly, that rotation was steadily there. So with a Flockberg here, you have a stagnant 9. And now going to beat the press, Kai Havertz is one of the most tallest target man in world football.
Yes.
He's one of the most tallest. You see situations where Germany are being pressed and you just see Neuer give the long ball to Kai Havertz, and that was it. But I felt like in terms of being clinical, he was abysmal.
Actually, the decision making of Germany leaving the competition, I believe it was from Julian Nagelsmann himself. He actually ripped himself off because you not starting Kai Havertz would have gone a long way for you, because when Falkirk actually came in, we actually see how well he was clinical. I was even saying deep inside me, no, this guy is very clinical, because the ball was coming in and he was even trying. The ball was on air, is good on air, with his feet is good, and he's a fighter. Kai Havertz is this kind of player whereby he's not a real fighter.
He plays the game at his own pace,
and he doesn't struggle when the ball is going out of hand. I can remember there was a ball in which Falkirk, the ball was going out of hand, and he actually his last leg, he actually put his last leg to the ball against Spain, in which the keeper actually punched the ball, in which I remember. Kai Havertz will not do all those kind of things.
The Flockberg I watched against Madrid in the final told me all I need to know. That's a proper old school number 9, not this Gen Z number 9.
He will get those chances, half chances he will convert there.
Yes, he's strong.
So Kai Havertz, for the case of Kai Havertz, in terms of being chance conversion rate, it was abysmal in the tournament.
If we are going to talk about being abysmal, there was another abysmal game, France-Portugal. I expected a lot from that game, but it was
an eyesore.
It turned out to be a very boring football match.
I'm sorry to say this, but what is actually missing in the French national team is Paul Pogba. That's why we see Mbappe not making the runs.
Now, I won't
That's
agree,
why we see.
I won't agree with that school of thought.
You know why I said it. You know why I said it.
Okay.
The two things that was missing in that French national team, I actually observed was that one, Griezmann was not allowed to roam around.
Yeah.
In which we all know Griezmann so well.
Yeah.
If you try to isolate Griezmann at the end, at the line, at the touch line, you want him to stay in the wing, he's not going to play well. He wants a chance to move freely, and we all know Mbappe. Mbappe is someone that wants you to think that, oh, I'm going to make the run. Just give me the pass. I'll make the run. Yeah. He even said it himself. He said he missed Paul in the national team. He said before, Paul actually knows his movements.
He said he can make those blind runs again.
He said he can make those blind runs again. And we actually saw that.
Now,
if Mbappe is not playing in the French national team, nothing is working out for them.
I think for me, I think I will. Well, to some extent, I agree with what you're saying, but majorly I'll fault it on Didier Deschamps, because this thing has been coming since. Deschamps is not a tactically sound manager.
Okay.
And
but he actually won the World Cup.
Yeah, he did win the World Cup, but I think France should have evolved. I was very surprised when his contract was renewed. I think that was about last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
When his contract was renewed, I was like,
all because Zidane didn't want to sign for the national team. Yeah. That was why his contract was renewed.
I have an agenda against Zidane, but we'll leave that for another time. I don't understand why three times Champions League winner back to back as a coach, and you're scared of picking up every other job.
Bro, you know
there's something I have to say, but I'll leave it for another episode.
Coaching a team that has a lot of transitional threats in it. You have Kylian Mbappe, you have Dembele.
Now, this was where, sorry to cut you short, this was where I was trying to break him in, was not just Pogba. They went to the World Cup final without Pogba, but there was a certain man in that lineup that is no longer in that lineup. That is Olivier Giroud. The boogeyman. Now, we've seen it over the years. We can mention a couple of dynamics where Some best season came with playing with Harry Kane, who can drop into that number 10, number 8, and all of that. Rashford's best season of recent years came with playing with Weghorst. Now, Martinelli's best season at Arsenal came with playing with a fully fit Gabriel Jesus, and all of that. Salah's best season at his peak was with Bobby Firmino. Now, this transitional, like you said, these transitional monsters, you need a certain kind of striker to complement them. Yeah. You can't have an Ousmane Dembele here, a Mbappe here, and you still have a Colombian or Adel Turan here. Now, this was what Giroud has brought to the team over the years. Drags two centre back in with him alongside and leaves spaces in behind for Mbappe to exploit, and that was one of Mbappe's biggest strengths. Now, having a Colombian or a Marcus Thuram as your start number 9, you are leaving no option for Mbappe to be either a touchline winger or being forced to be an inside forward. He likes making those run in behind. He likes exploiting those spaces, and those spaces are not there because almost everybody starting in that front three had almost similar profile. And now the drop off of also Antoine Griezmann has also been a major factor for the French national team also. Yeah. But I felt like the major thing that has affected them over this tournament has been the drop off of Olivier Giroud.
What I'm trying to say is that the attack, from my own perspective, the attack is nice. But the midfield, the French midfield is so shallow. There's nothing in the French midfield. They have the likes of Rabiot. They have N'Golo Kante,
Tchouaméni.
They have the likes of Tchouaméni. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that out of these midfielders that we have, there's no one that can dictate play. Out of these midfielders, if I'm right, there's no midfielder out of this midfielder that can dictate play. Okay, let me dictate play. Okay, I want the ball to go to this place. Okay, I can sight your run. Oh, you're about to make this run. Oh, let me give you this ball.
I see a bit of that from Tchouaméni. Thank you.
I think Tchouaméni later in his career will evolve to that type of
but not right now.
He's not that player. Because during their game, they build up with a back three of Jose Koundé, Upamecano, Saliba. Now, most times I see Tchouaméni dropping into the LCB role, even pushing Jose Koundé higher. Now, it dictates the play from the ball. That effectiveness is not fully there. Yeah, that effectiveness is not fully there. So I feel like possibly with time. But like you mentioned, thank you for mentioning Adel Rabiot. I don't know how that brother made it there.
If you are watching this podcast right now and you know the usefulness of Adrien Rabiot in the French national team, you can drop it in the comment section. Explain to us.
I would like to know.
We want you to educate us because I thought I was the only one who belonged to that school of thought about Adrien Rabiot.
It's just a long term McTominay. I
think there is just loyalty between the champ and
the champ is, in as much as he has done what he has done here, he's loyal to his players. He has people that he's loyal to, that come rain, come sun, this player knows I will be in the French national team. That has been one of his major issues, and I feel like Rabiot has been one of those players as well he has been extremely loyal to.
They were so disappointing, and the Portuguese national team as well. We have to talk about them. A team full of superstars coming into this tournament. Everybody would beat their chest that Portugal are clear favourites. Yeah, and one of those favourites to lift the competition.
The last dance that turned to a piano dance. The last dance that turned to a piano dance. For the Portuguese national team here, if for a team that has Roberto Martinez as their coach, I don't know what people were expecting. Because you've seen this brother do it with the Belgian national team. You can tell me they won third place at the World Cup. For me, they should have done even much more better, because the quality in that team at that given time was so exceptional. Yes, it was from the defense down to the attack line. It was exceptional. So, him coming into the Portuguese national team from the first game, I just knew this. They were not getting anywhere.
And there is this argument online that a Cristiano Ronaldo shouldn't have started as their focal point in that tournament.
They actually said it, but we all know one thing. Different people with different opinion. Yeah, it might be their opinion that they don't want Cristiano Ronaldo to start at this type of tournament. What I believe is that they have the likes of Bruno Fernandes, and we all know how well what Bruno Fernandes is best at. He's best at sharing the ball, splitting the ball, all this counter, putting the ball to your head and everything. Yeah. And we all know the form in which Cristiano Ronaldo has. unnecessary. He's in form. So I don't expect someone to come out to say Cristiano Ronaldo shouldn't be the focal point. I believe that why they are saying this, I won't say I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I won't say I'm not his fan. Okay. I'm just in between because I don't want to cause something. But what I believe is that when you see the form in which Cristiano Ronaldo is, you know he has to be there. He has to be the focal point. He's in good goal scoring form. But what actually happened in the Portuguese national team, I can't really say
it. Now I want to back up his take here. The school of thought that believes that Ronaldo should not start, 90% of them are Messi fans.
Messi fan. Yes.
I'm not a Messi or Ronaldo guy. If you've been following this podcast, I'm not a Messi or Ronaldo guy. 90% of them are Messi fans.
Messi fan.
The name Cristiano Ronaldo alone is a big threat in the national team.
Yeah.
As a defender, if you are coming up against Ronaldo, you have a big work to do.
Yes. Yeah.
That was why when they played France, you saw people giving accolade to William Saliba because they believed he did an amazing job or a decent job to be able to keep him off his game. Ronaldo had a good game in that game, but the fact that he was not able to score, it's a great game for the defender.
Yes.
Now, having Ronaldo on the pitch alone, it's a big threat to every defender. And like you said, coming from an incredible season he had,
yes.
I want to ask out there, and I'm putting the question out there to the people saying it. Which striker should start ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo?
Is it Gonzalo Ramos who barely start at PSG?
We saw him at PSG. We saw a Ramos at PSG.
Yeah, or a Joao Felix. Who is just
Diego Jota
Diego Jota who is injury prone.
So who should be on the bench?
Even leaving the on-field issue, let's move it to the off-pitch issue. In the dressing room, you need someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. You need a leader. You need someone that has won it all. Someone that is up there for years to give you all these motivational words and everything, all those likes of things like that. So I don't expect anyone to say Cristiano Ronaldo should be up there.
And I think I would, like you said earlier, I would blame Roberto Martinez as well. Tactically, he got it a little bit wrong. Now you have a Cristiano Ronaldo there, one of the best area monsters you have in the game of football. The best.
Yes.
He can score headers for you.
Yes.
Now you're not putting in those crosses. That was one of the issues that they had in their team.
You had a Cancelo. Sorry to cut you short. You had a Joao Cancelo. You had a Nuno Mendes.
You had a Bruno Fernandes.
You had
Rafael Leao.
You had a Bernardo Silva who is good at crossing because he played with Eli Alan.
Yes.
You had a certain Vitinha.
You had a Ruben
Dias. You had every tool in your arsenal.
Creativity should be coming into the box for CR7.
You just fall short. From when they appointed Roberto Martinez, I knew the last dance would become an Amapiano.
You know what I believe? Roberto Martinez shouldn't be given another chance to stay in that team because we all know him. He doesn't head well. He actually tried with Belgium. He tried everything with Belgium. He never end well. And we can see the picture crystal clear, written in HD.
I think
is not going to end well.
To the average Portuguese citizens right now, I think they will prefer the pragmatic Santos to this beautiful football Martinez.
Because I won't lie to you, Portugal played a clueless football.
Many people have forgotten that there is more than one way to play football.
Yeah.
Not everybody would have to play beautiful football. That is the beauty of the game.
Yes.
You have your style, you have my style, you have my style. That is it. I'm not saying Santos was a great manager. I was not saying he was a good manager.
But he was getting those results.
He was scrapping out those results like Man United with Ten Hag do.
Yeah.
They get away with
England with Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, they get away with things. So, with Roberto Martinez here, he got a whole lot of things. Starting Vitinha as your number 6. When you had a Ruben Neves on your bench and a João Paulina on your bench. You started the first game, you played Nuno Mendes as a left centre back. There are so many tactical flaws. Not just in terms of his lineup, there are so many tactical flaws from the game. You make substitutions and bro, there are so many things. If we are to start talking about this Portuguese team, we'll get out of this.
And the game they lost against France, you had a Diego Jota on the bench who is so very good in between the lines.
Yes.
And the runs, nobody was making those runs. Diego Jota is good in this sort of situation.
Substitutions here, when you are removing Bernardo Silva is not a transitional monster.
Not at all.
Ronaldo has lost his legs.
It's
more of brains than legs.
Yeah.
The only transitional monster he had in that attack was a Rafael Leao. Now, when you are removing a Rafael Leao, I expect you to bring in a Pedro Neto. Now, there are games where I expect, Bernardo is no longer effective from the right wing. Why not bring in a Pedro Neto from this? And you have a Rafael Leao on this. That way, you are able to keep the opponents on their toes. nothing like that. Like there are so many flaws from the man himself. So I from the onset, I never expected to. I never bought their hype. From the first game I watched, and I watched the second game, I knew they were not going far with it.
They had a disappointing campaign.
They're one of the underachievers.
They are one of the underachievers, and I think an average football fan would say they starved Cristiano Ronaldo of chances.
A lot. They actually starved him of chances.
They starved him of chances.
Yes.
And we need to talk about England. You need to talk about England. England, let me say, just like the usual way, they skipped through. Let's start with that Switzerland game, because the Swiss got their noses in front, and one way or the other, England were able to come back.
Star boy.
You know, I have always been of the opinion that this English team, I think, probably because their league is the best league in the world, they have had a lot of foreign managers work on their players at club level.
Yes.
These players, those foreign managers have turned these their players to world-class players.
Yes.
But they can't replicate it at the national team. When you watch England play, you look at all these Jude Bellingham, who won the La Liga Player of the Season, and Harry Kane, who won the Golden Shoe, and Phil Foden, who won the English. All these players, they look average immediately when you're watching them.
I said something right from time. I won't put it all fully on the players, and I'll put it all on Southgate. Now, but first of all, before I come to Southgate, thank you for remembering me of Stockport Iniesta, Phil Water Foden. Rusty, is this the Premier League Player of the Year?
I wonder.
That's the Premier League Player of the Year.
Is this the one that first down our throats that is the Premier League Player of the Year? I will come back to Foden, but now I will go to Southgate. Now, if you are coming to a tournament, and your plan is to sit back, I expect you to come on with transitional monsters. I expect you to come up with transitional monsters. You dropped a Marcus Rashford, which I believe should be in the squad.
Marcus Rashford?
Yeah.
No,
Marcus Rashford?
Yes.
No, the fact that Rashford wasn't in the squad is justifiable.
You should allow me land. No, you should allow me land. No, I wanted to say, my statement was who I believe should have been in the squad, but him not being there is justifiable.
Yeah,
that was what I was about to say.
He picked a profile.
Now you picked a setting. Anthony Gordon.
That's
where I was going to before you both attacked me. You heard Marcus Rashford and I was shocked. My statement, what I was about to make was, which I believe should be in the squad, and him not being there is justifiable. And a certain Anthony Gordon was picked. If you have to sit back, keep a mid block, keep a low block, you need transitional demons on the pitch. We talked about Mbappe and Giroud combination earlier. We watched a Gareth Bale, Benzema, the BBC. Basically, you saw how Benzema had to drop deep and all of that. If you have to sit deep, there were many times in this English national team, I saw them have transition and there was nothing to do.
There was nothing to do.
Even in the finals, Jude Bellingham initiated several transitions and there was nobody, no runner. I've seen also Bukayo Saka struggle with transition, no runner. Saka is not a runner. Stockport Iniesta is not a runner. Jude Bellingham Zidane is not a runner. Harry Kane is not a runner. Harry Kane, in fact, I don't even want to go there. He's not a runner. Now, from his setup here, I don't know, you people might come for me, you might not like me. That is why they call me the controversial Prosper Westman. But Kai Walker is a Wan-Bissaka with just pace and agility.
He's a space marker.
Because his positioning in this tournament has been awful.
You know what's about Kai Walker?
Okay.
I think there's this drink called Johnny Walker. I think he takes that drink.
I'm of the opinion that team's achievement covers a whole lot
of your flaws.
A whole lot of flaws. And we'll come back to this topic someday, but it's not just in City, it's also in Madrid. There are many greats where you sit down and just watch their game for what it is, and you ask yourself, is this the people they place in all-timers conversation?
Yeah.
Now, Kai Walker, as a leader, one of the leaders in the team, is positioning, and we are blaming Southgate, but individually, players should take responsibility.
His positioning has been very terrible.
His positioning has been terrible, not just at English national team, even at City, as you said.
Yeah.
His recovery pace has been his biggest asset to cover all of that. And many of the goals, England, you saw the first goals against Spain. Omo was able to drag him out of position. a player of that standard, of that caliber, I feel like there are certain mistakes and certain bits you shouldn't fall for. Their best defender in this tournament is Maguire.
Yeah.
Maguire. John Stones.
Nothing.
John Stones. It was only the final I could say, okay, he had a decent game. The John Stones, there are about 2 goals England considered in this tournament. John Stones had a fault at it. Then you come to the midfield, Declan Rice. I don't want to go there. Some days you are, some days you are, some days you are, some days you are, which I understand because of the pairing.
And at a point, Kobe Mino, the game swallowed him.
That was in the final. No, that was in the final.
In the final.
I'm not going there because I would say I hate Man United.
Yeah, this is not a matter of nobody.
I will always say this thing. A league competition is different from a knockout football.
It's what works.
A knockout football starts from the very time that you are picking your squad. That I want this certain type of player. From picking your squad, from making the finalists, from the very first 11. I will always dispute this. I don't know why COPA can't make the first 11.
I love
stand on that. I love that.
I love this. I was getting there.
Yeah.
I was getting there because you see, in case it's England here, we can talk about 30 minutes of this English national team.
I don't know why.
You have a certain player here. There's this thing in England. I have noticed this tournament. As long as you don't have a legend in Sky Sports or BBC, you won't start.
Legend of Big Uncle.
Yeah, you won't start.
If you don't have Big Uncle,
in this part of the world, we call it Egba Adubo. If you don't have a godfather up there, you are not starting. That was the case of Anthony Gordon and Cole Palmer, because you've seen it over and over again. When this boy steps up, things happen. When this boy is on the pitch, things happen.
And he proved it against Spain.
You know the problem with Gareth Southgate is he is a media manager. He's always pressured by the media. Talking about that Trent Alexander-Arnold, he took Arnold to this competition because of the noise coming from the media. That Trent needs to be there. He never had a plan for Trent. And it was very obvious in the tournament. He never had a plan for Trent. He just feel like, I can play this boy in the midfield. I can try.
He's a midfielder.
He's a midfielder. He didn't have any proper plan. I kept wondering, what is the style of play at England? They were just getting possession. They had a lot of possession in this tournament.
The English national team is just a rich Super Eagles. That is the simplest thing to It's a rich Super Eagles, a well-funded Super Eagles. That is it. Because you can't place your hand on their style of play. You were going into the tournament here with an injured left back. You had a Micheal at Crystal Palace, who you did not bring up. You had a Afidoti at Luton, one of the best crossers of the ball in the league. You did not bring him on, and you went there and you started a right-footed Trippier as your left back. You were struggling.
It's all about the media.
It's all about the media. You come in with Kane had a 50 goal and assist season, 50 plus goal and assist season. Bukayo Saka had a 20 plus goal and assist season. That your attack line alone had over 100 plus goal and assist season. If you have to include the players on the bench, you are going over 150 goal and assist. In your team alone, and you can't even string 2 and 2 together. You can't even string. You rely on individual brilliance. Man United fans should be on their knees thanking God that United never went for that man.
I always stand on this because I don't see what Kobe Mino is even doing in the team.
I see nothing. Well, you see this agenda, I'll step out of it.
No, I'll say it. I'll say it with my full chest. I don't see what he's doing in the team.
You see
I don't see what he's doing in the team because he was swallowed.
No, he was swallowed.
Mino turned to Jonah.
Now, I'm coming here to defend the boy. I'm of the school of thought that the English midfield should be Adam Watson of Crystal Palace and Declan Rice. Before I go further,
I've said that a lot of times.
I want you to understand that national team is not about who is on form. It's about what works. The dynamics that complement.
What works. You have to have your formation. That's what I want to use.
And you have to
what set of players do I want for this formation?
And you have to remember that national team football, this is just a 7 games tournament.
Yes.
You can actually play pragmatic football and scale through.
And scale through. Beautiful football and scale through. Play football and not get a result.
I was always of the opinion.
England almost scale through now.
I was always of the opinion like,
scale through.
This Adam Watson and Declan Rice will have been a very good midfield. That the chemistry will be on fire. Adam Watson is...
The media is not talking about them.
The media is not talking about them.
The thing is, I felt like Mino should be in the squad. The Adam Watson and Rice team should have worked. But at the same time, Jude Bellingham is not a number 10.
Yeah.
I would keep preaching it till the end of this world. Jude Bellingham, I knew him from his Dortmund days. I've been watching him.
He's a box-to-box
midfielder. The thing you watch Kante did at France is what a Jude Bellingham can give you in the English national team.
Yeah.
Remove him from that number 10 position. Give me a 3-man midfield. If you want to go with the Kobe Mino, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham, bring Jude Bellingham to his number 10 position.
Number 8
position. Box-to-box midfielder. Now, you can't accommodate everybody. Everybody must not play.
Yeah.
There is a reason why the champ at a point benched Dembele. If it was by form, Malone Gusto of Chelsea should be in the French national team.
Yeah.
It's not about form, it's about what works.
It's
about this.
Michael Olise should be in the national team.
Michael Olise also.
Yes, Michael Olise should be in the national team. Yes.
Now, Southgate has failed England as a nation. He has failed those players. And the Stockport Iniesta has also failed this country and the Man City share. Because you can't be a player of the season. You saw Jude Bellingham, La Liga player of the season.
Yes.
You could see the brilliance, even in the failed system. You could see, okay, Bellingham stepped up a couple of times. Ivan Toney had more goal contribution than Phil Foden, player of the tournament, in this competition. And you want this guy, you are charging Ballon d'Or for this brother.
For who?
Heytrip, would you say that Gareth Southgate has failed as a manager? For the past 60 years, they haven't won anything. The English national team, the last time they lifted a trophy was 1966 against the World Cup, when the World Cup was still where it looks like
briefly after we got independence
in Nigeria. In Nigeria here, we call some things shigidi mini statue. When the World Cup still be like a mini statue in Nigeria, that was when the last time they won a trophy. And coming so close to winning trophies in recent time, in modern day, it has been Gareth Southgate. They've had a lot of managers that failed them. The likes of Fabio Capello, Larry Redknapp, they all failed them as a nation.
I
think in as much as we are saying Gareth Southgate is poor tactically, I think we still need to give him his flowers.
There's no flower to give Gareth Southgate. Now let me get you. With this crop of talent, this crop of players,
you can always
what is your expectation for
no excuse
for a coach?
There's no excuse.
Bar the French national team and arguably Portuguese national team, there is no national team that has more stars than English national team. Let's forget whatever media PRO you have. You watch them week in, week out in your various clubs. There is no national team. So should I be expecting runners up always? And you call a runner up success? If you have now you can look at the German national team with Nigerian and you say this is a success.
Yes.
Because they have a brand of football, they have a graph, they have a blueprint. You can see what this team is playing, where they are heading to. You can't say same for the English national team. The English national team we always have this debate of what would they play this game? What would they play? How would they play? Even against the lesser nation. That was why I call them the Super Eagles of the well-funded Super Eagles
of Europe.
Yeah, they are the Super Eagles of Europe.
They struggle.
Even against Slovenia, who they played, they struggled.
Slovakia.
They struggled. Like,
I think that was where Jude scored the acrobatic.
When it comes success, sorry to cut short. When it comes success, there are so many factors to achieving success. There are so many trajectories. When you measure success, winning a trophy is success, but the journey behind it is also what matters a lot. And Gareth Southgate, sorry, you are not better than Finidi the Judge. You are not better than Finidi the Judge.
So Finidi the Judge, you can apply for the English national team.
I'm stating it right here.
Finidi.
I would even finish better and higher than Southgate with that English national team.
The English FA. You've got a manager.
Coach for sale.
Coach for sale.
Because I feel like you can't call Southgate and success in the same conversation. Because if you are using the yardstick of nobody remembers, as of today, nobody remembers Arteta finished second for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's right. And why some people will argue that Klopp is not even in the bracket of all time
one league title.
Exactly.
So if you are using this yardstick,
you can't have that set of players.
If you are using the same tactics now, if you are using the same yardstick for Roberto Martinez for the Belgian national team, then we should use the same yardstick for the English national team, because English has to be one of the powerhouse of world football. One of the powerhouse of world football, just like the likes of Brazil and all of that. So you telling me you finish back-to-back finals and those are trash?
Over the years we've seen errors from Gareth Southgate in which we all know where the fault is from. We've seen clear errors whereby there are some players that has to be on the field You are leaving them on the bench, and you are doing this, you are doing that. Okay, it's very certain we are close to the final every year. Even we are getting to the final in some instances.
But if
I was to be in the position of the English FA, let me say English Football Association or something like that, we will have to sack Gareth Southgate because he has done it.
Where do you go from there?
Let's just sack him and let's just leave the job.
What are we saying?
I know what you want to say.
What are we saying is, for me, I think the way forward for the English national team is, it might sound a little bit controversial, but stop using an English manager.
It will never work.
Let me
tell you,
it will never work.
If a certain foreign manager had the same display Southgate had in this tournament, the English media would have been all over his neck. Like Jimmy Carragher, Gary Neville, Ian Wright, and all of them.
They will have thrown him on the bus.
Yeah. They want a yes man. They want their countryman. That has been their problem. These things don't work. Since Premier League history, we have never had an English manager win the Premier League.
And that says a lot.
That says a lot about
that says a lot.
You see, tactical details is one thing that the English managers lack a lot.
Over the years,
they are not well detailed tactically.
People who call the godfathers of the league, the managers that have done well over the years. Joseph Pep Guardiola, a foreign manager. Arsene Wenger. All of them are foreign.
He's a Scottish
man. So
man.
they are all foreign managers. But if you are recommending a foreign manager, I have to tell you here, it would never work in England. The media would be on his neck by
every little detail.
You see, Southgate here is the kind of manager they need. They want a yes man who Ian Wright can pick up his phone and say, "Oh, yo, Southgate, I want Bukayo Saka at left back tomorrow."
You know one thing I say about Southgate. Southgate is a manager, whereas he doesn't have a clear plan before any match. What he does is that any players that is in form, he wants them to be in his camp. So when everybody is in camp, we know what we want in the camp. So that time we will draw information. Okay, we have Arnold, we have this. Guys, let's use 4-2-3-1.
And you are right. That's
4-2-3-1.
That's why
everybody that is in form, I want them in the camp. So when everybody is in camp, that time we'll decide on what to use. You understand me clearly? Because the first match we actually saw him, he actually used Trent Arnold in the midfield. He used Trent Arnold in the midfield because he wants people to know that I'm trying to use this guy. And things are not working out. I'm trying to use this guy.
I want to satisfy you. I want to satisfy you, the media.
You shouldn't think about the media.
If you have to use Arnold in the midfield, I want to clear that impression of people. I feel like Germany with Toni Kroos left a blueprint of how to apply Arnold as a midfielder. Now, Arnold's biggest problem has always been scanning. Scanning to receive pass and all of that. It has always been his biggest problem. Arnold's biggest strength is where he stands and see the game. Into an open pitch. Now, if you have to play Arnold as a midfielder, you have to just the same template Germany used with Toni Kroos.
Let him drop.
To drop in here and dictate the play from deep. That is where it would work. But playing Arnold as a pivot alongside Declan Rice, who is just a destroyer.
If you are, a good example of what he's explaining is watch the goal against Arsenal, Liverpool versus Arsenal. Watch the assist Trent gave to
Mo Salah.
That is, he dropped in between the two centre backs and he picked that wonderful pass.
The thing is, if you are starting an Arnold, you need a runner. If you are starting an Hurricane, you need a runner. These things are natural.
They are logical things.
Even a 7-year-old child knows these things.
I don't understand for Gareth Southgate. And there is another manager. Let me say, clueless manager. Do I call him clueless? He needed a Cody Gakpo to save him week in, week out. Ronald Koeman. The Dutch national team. They nearly escaped Turkey.
Yes.
I think was it Van Brugge? He had to make this crazy stop.
As somebody who twilight of the game, the tournament, as a Netherlands fan, as a Dutch fan, as part of the Orange Boy. Before I come to Koeman here, Jordan, are you Dipe? Jordan, are you Dipe? Bro, you are not even better than Jordan. Are you this tournament?
Bro actually tried now.
No,
he tried.
He tried. For a player of his reputation, he had an abysmal tournament. There was no difference between Jordan Ayew under Ray Hodgson and the player I watched with the Netherlands national team. It was abysmal. It was abysmal. At the point here, in fact, Koeman should be flogged. Because at the point, I felt like, why is this guy starting?
Why not start Weghorst?
You have Weghorst also. Weghorst was there. Exactly. Who had a brilliant season with Bologna. You had him on the bench, and broski, you still had Depay. You found a way of sneaking Depay into the conversation. You had a way of sneaking Depay into the starting lineup, and then you had a Cody Gakpo to step up for you. Koeman, right from his Barca days, from when he chased Luis Suarez out of Barca, I've always had issue with him.
Koeman has always been like that. He's this kind of manager that is very stone-hearted. I'm a Barcelona fan, and he actually coached Barcelona. He has this kind of stone-hearted attitude. He doesn't like this kind of, giving him advices that do this, do that. He always wants to do what he has in mind, and it was very glaring. I was very surprised when I saw Cody Gakpo played at this last Euros. I was very astonished because I've never seen Cody Gakpo played like that. Before the Euros, I've always been this kind of big fan of criticism against Cody Gakpo that wasn't playing or something like this. So when he played in the Euros, I can see it was Luis Diaz that is actually locking his shine for him not playing on the wing side, because when Cody Gakpo has the ball, ability to cut in, is very good, to cut in, to know when to play the shot, to know when to shoot,
and excellent ball striking ability.
Excellent. So I see Koeman as someone that is just opportuned because Cody Gakpo was informed.
And at a point, I felt that the Dutch national team was so predictable. That they want to, all the creativity is coming from the wide areas. Dumfries overlapping as that attacking wing back, and you have a Cody Gakpo walking the touchline over there. So all the creativity. That's why I buy the pay. The Memphis Depay through the middle, there was nothing there.
It was dry. Right, if I'm not mistaken. England versus Netherland, that was the semi-final, right?
Yeah.
So that was what actually happened, because they have Kai Walker and Cody Gakpo. They are all together, and we know Kai Walker quite well. He's very fast. So they actually restricted playing to the wide areas, and it actually affected them. So when Cody Gakpo is not playing, nothing is working out.
He was the only one standing tall.
Nothing is working out
for the country. Man, just like Southgate, the head Finidi George.
The New England coach.
Koeman has failed the Dutch national team. For the expectation here, I felt like where we finished was a deserved space, considering the calibers of teams in this tournament and all of that. But what we saw was an eyesore. From Koeman. And another player that stood out in the Dutch national team was Tijani Reinders. Yeah, Tijani Reinders. Yeah. One very sweet
a very good footballer. And I think people should keep an eye on what will happen to him during this summer.
Yes.
I think he is that one of those. He will be a sought-after player because at least he is one of those wonderful that had a decent tournament.
He's going places. One of the tactical errors in which Koeman do make is ability for you to switch formation. He doesn't have this kind of ability. The only thing Koeman has in mind is the formation he carries into the game. So him switching formation during the game, he doesn't have the ability. You are playing against England. Your main man, which is Cody Gakpo, he's been isolated. One of the fastest defender in the world we have right now. He's been isolated. So I expect you to change the structure of the game.
That's one issue.
So he doesn't have the ability.
Southgate. Saka 1v1 is one of the best 1v1 wingers in the world.
Yes.
He's one of the best wide creator. As a winger, he's one of the best creator. On that English national team, I don't think there is any winger, bar Palmer, arguably, there is no winger that is more as creative as Bukayo Saka in that English national team. Now, if you are putting a Saka isolated, you can't mark Saka with one man. Most times they step up with 3 men, 2 men. Now, I expect a Kai Walker overlap or an underlap from a couple of players. These are 1-2 dynamics we see that open up defense, and that was one thing Koeman also failed to do with Cody Gakpo. You overload a certain area and forget a certain area
of
the pitch. Most times, if you look at the England, sorry, we are coming back to the England topic. Most times, if you look at the England setup, the entire left half space is overload, and you just leave one player isolated at that part of the pitch, and that left half space, nothing is even cooking. Nothing is cooking. So I felt like Koeman himself failed works.
Koeman and Southgate, I guess they are brothers.
No. For a great defender he was, I felt like he failed the Dutch national team.
He failed the Dutch national team. And we need to talk about the semi-final, the Spain and France. That was a very, very interesting game. France got their noses in front. Kylian Mbappe to Kolo Muani, bam, and Spain turned it on. The way they reacted to that setback, I knew that was what gave me the confidence going into the final that this Spain national team they are the one to watch out for. The way they responded to that setback in the semi-final, we have to remember that this Spanish squad, they are one of the youngest in this tournament.
Yes.
They had the likes of Lamine Yamal, they had Nico Williams, they had Dani Olmo, they had all these young players. You understand? They had all these young players, which means it's very, very easy for them to crumble mentally.
I always say one thing about football. I'm this kind of, if I was to be a manager, I'm this kind of man. I'll be this kind of manager that believes in young talent, hungry talent. We have the likes of Lamine Yamal, we have the likes of Nico Williams. These two boys, the way they play, they really want to shine. They want to be up there. So Spain actually separated the boys from the men, because the way France actually played, I'm not calling them boys. They also tried, but when it comes to this ability, this tiki-taka ability to force your opponents outside. So for you to be up there, Spain has this kind of ability. And when you see Lamine Yamal plays with lots and lots of experience. He knows when to cross. He knows when to feint his cross and pass instead, in which we've seen in the competition a lot of times, and it actually worked out. So I never expected anything less. I expected Spain to dominate from A to Z, in which France actually they actually quoted me wrong.
And that was the game I felt the champ failed.
He failed
the French national team.
He failed the French national team.
That was the game I felt like he failed them, because one, you are not, when you had every tool to punish the Spanish national team. The Georgia national team left a blueprint on how to punish the Spanish national team.
Yes.
If you have to sit back, keep your transitional demons at alert and hurt them when they press, when they come high.
And thank you for saying this. And one team that actually excelled in tormenting Spain in this tournament are the German national team. Spain will always play out from the back. Their defenders are always very comfortable in possession. They have Laporte, one of the best ball playing defenders in the world. I've seen with my naked eyes.
I've never seen CB create chances from
deep.
Laporte.
I think the only person in modern day that is a little bit close to him is Lisandro Martinez of Man United.
Yeah, if been applied properly.
God bless you. Now, you have these centre backs who are very comfortable in possession, and the champ transition into a mid block. They were so passive in their press. They allowed Spain front line to dictate the game. What Germany did was Germany had them man for man. Everybody, they are in their face.
Yes,
they had them man for man, and it was very, very lovely to watch. Germany should have won the game. We can argue that.
Yes, because Spain were so tired.
So you saw the game against Germany, and you are playing against Spain. You are so passive in the press. You look like you are not even bothered. You are not even bothered. You are transitioning into a mid block, low block,
trying to defend your zone than to go man for man. That was why I felt like the champ failed the French national team when they came up with the Spaniard. You had a Pacey Mbappe, you had a Ousmane Dembele. When Dembele came on, you could see his impact on the pitch. You had all of that, and you decided to just be lackadaisical about the whole game. I don't know, but I feel like you said earlier, he has possibly overachieved or might has maxed his limit.
Yeah, he has maxed his limit.
He might have maxed his limit. He can't get to, because I felt like that game France should have gotten something if France was on their game.
Out of the game.
Kudos to the Spanish national team.
Kudos to the Spanish national team.
They are so enjoyable to watch.
Very, very enjoyable. They are so enjoyable. Very enjoyable to watch. And the England versus Netherlands game, there is this controversial call I just want us to talk about there. The Dumfries penalty.
Okay.
Do you think that's a little bit harsh, given that as
there
a
is
pen?
no emotion in football.
There's no emotion.
Yeah, I know.
Now there is nothing like too harsh or slightly harsh. Was the contact there?
Yes, there's a contact. You have to get punished for it.
That is it.
That's it.
Going into the tournament, these laws were straightened up. Many of the laws were refurbished. That these are the rules for this tournament. I don't know if you remember. These are the rules for this tournament. Was the contact there? Was the boots too high? Yes, it was. So anybody crying online that I don't know what.
I think Ronald Koeman made Southgate look like a prime Pep Guardiola in that game, because that was the only game.
The best game England has played.
England played during the tournament. That was the tournament. And I fought Ronald Koeman for that. Playing against Ronald Koeman, what do you expect? What do you expect?
Let me tell you something. Ronald Koeman is very easy to play against if you are tactically sound.
Yeah, if you are tactically sound.
He's a kind of manager. He's this kind of old-fashioned manager. He's not tactically sound. I'm a Barca fan. I keep saying it. This is the second or third time I'll say it on this podcast. I'm a Barca fan. I knows everything about Ronald Koeman. I know the way he plays. The Ronald Koeman only plays with the formation he carries into the game. If the game changes along the line, he doesn't know how to change formation.
He will remain clueless.
Yes, he will remain clueless.
Comes with the plan.
So it's very easy to play against Ronald Koeman.
And the final was a Lamine Yamal show. Lamine Yamal. It was a show. The boy has really grown from a little boy to a man. Like Peter Drury said, he's a little boy becoming a man. And I think everybody can now say this guy is ready for the big stage.
You know,
he's ready.
You know about football. Football is not about the age. Football is how you can translate what you have in your brain to your legs, to your feet. How you can study the game, how you can relate with the game. You might be young and understand football more. It depends on how calm you are. You know, when you see Lamine Yamal plays on the field, sometimes when Lamine Yamal is with the ball, I always expect, guy, cross the ball inside. You will see him ending up not crossing the ball. He wants this kind of situation whereby you can calm down, let's dominate our opponent, let's decide. So the way he plays is even beyond human comprehension. It's very hard for me to believe Lamine Yamal is 16 or 17. You know, he plays like a man of 28, 29 years old that has had experience. And Jamal Musiala said something. He said, when I was 16, I don't have the physical ability to play among the first team. You know, Lamine Yamal is not that strong. He doesn't have a lot of physical abilities, but he knows when to pass. Even Lamine Yamal will even compete with you physically.
You talked about Bukayo Saka as being one of the best white creators. Now, I think Yamal is a competition
now. That I was allowing him to just get. Yamal is decision making for a 17 years old boy.
He's astonished. He's astonishing.
He's above the roof. Because if you look at Yemi Yamal, you look at Vicente Anthony at Man United, you look at Micheal Owen, you look at Jeremy Doku, you look at and Ousmane Dembele. These players with terrible decision making, and you watch Yemi Yamal and you ask yourself, do you both have different brains? Do you both have different brains? Because Yamal is decision making. Once he's on the ball, he makes those decisions, and you ask yourself, he knows when to cross, he knows when to slow down the game, he knows when to move. Everything. Creativity from the wide areas. You know when his crosses are on point. He doesn't just cross the ball for crossing sake.
Yes.
He just, when he puts the ball, he finds his man.
He knows what he's doing.
For his 17 years old boy, I tweeted during one game, I said, between God and man, we can say Yamal is not 17 years old. Because the way he plays, bro.
Yamal needs to be questioned. He's not going to be 17 years old.
He plays like a man of 28 years old.
He plays so matured. And for me now, coming to Barca, how Barca will manage him going forward will determine the trajectory of his career.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Pedri. I'm scared Pedri might not reach the height he's supposed to.
Yes.
We've seen it with Ansu Fati. You don't overload this boy.
Yeah.
I think he has played over 50 something games already this season.
Yeah.
And it's too much for that age. You see, I have a Rafinha. I feel like Yamal right now should be a rotational player between him and Yamal for the right wing spot.
Yes.
Rafinha should be the key figure. Yamal should be that guy, the super sub, and slowly works his way into the team, because I feel like if he's not mentally strong enough, his mental profile is elite, but if he's not mentally strong enough,
he might crumble.
And the excessive game being accumulated in his body might also lead to fatigue. And
that was what actually affected Pedri.
Pedri also.
Yes.
That was one of the that is one of the issues.
Yes, Pedri and Dani
they both played the Euros
Olympics
and the Olympics.
So I feel like the way Barca would manage Yamal going forward will determine how far he would come in his career.
And I was saying something. I remember highlighting something about a few months ago that if Hansi Flick would enjoy Lamine Yamal, he needs to coach him to play as an interior, where he's going to have an overlapping fullback. And De La Fuente has given Hansi Flick the blueprint on how to effectively use Lamine Yamal. Cavaja was always overlapping. This guy would drift in as an interior, and the chemistry between himself and Cavaja was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yamal is the kind of player where you can't tell him to walk the line. You can't tell him to walk the line. The best way to play Yamal is for him to invert. Maybe highest you want him to play as a free roam. You want him to roam around, dictate, pass here, pass there, because he has a very good vision. He knows when to pass. He knows when to pass the ball up there. You know when to pass the ball lower. So he's the kind of player whereby they need to manage him very slow and steady. And to my own perspective, I agree with what Prosper Westman actually said. He said, he should be rotational player between him and Rafinha. Rafinha should be the main man, whereby he can always come in.
The way Rodrigo is to Madrid,
yes,
prior to last season, before he became a starter.
Because I agree with him in the fact whereby the guy has really played a lot of matches. So it's going to feel very bad for him. It's not going to be healthy for him to start playing in the first team, starting regularly on and off.
His legs might get weak.
Yes, because I'm always very scared of one thing. As a youngster, you have a new career. Your career is coming up. I'm always very scared of the first injury. The first injury determines a lot in the life of a player. Are you going to come back from that injury and still be yourself?
Yeah.
Or you'll be something else? Yeah. So it determines a lot. So
that will put a check and balance on your mental profile as a youngster. And the Heroes Award was announced right after the celebrations and prior to the trophy lift. Lamine Yamal, we can all agree, is the young player of the tournament. I don't think anybody with a proper functioning brain will argue that.
And to me, I will still say it. My player of the tournament is between Cody Gakpo or Lamine Yamal.
I don't understand why Rodri was.
My player of the tournament is between these two.
The thing is,
Prosper, do you understand how Rodri?
A lot of Man City players. I'm not coming here as an agenda list, but a lot of Man City players are being forced down our throats, like the Stockport Iniesta.
God. Phil Foden scored his Stockport Iniesta.
He was the one. No, that is what he's being called in his own time. So he was the one that
you need to arrest this man.
He was forced down our throats as the Premier League player of the season. I was on here defending why Ole Watkins should be the player of the season. Now, Rodri, fine. You can say he's the best defensive midfielder in the world now.
That's fine.
That's fine.
In the English national team, he did not have a better tournament than Fabian Ruiz. He did not even have a better tournament than Marco Cucurella.
Nico Williams
also had now, this is a case of players just being forced down our throats. You know what? Okay, let's just give him popularity contest.
For me,
even at the final, we watched the final. Rodri came off, and it was never like Rodri left.
It was. At the point, I was like, "Is this not Strubimendi on the pitch?" I wasn't aware.
Fabian Ruiz was the glue of that team. You can make also a debate for a Cody Gakpo. You can make a debate for the Georgian striker. Although they never came far, you can make a debate for Georgian striker. You can make a debate for so many. Even Jamie Yamal.
Yes.
Even Musiala. Jamal Musiala.
Rodri getting the player of the year, like we said,
long time ago, surprise.
It's a case of popularity.
We all know the agenda they are pushing.
They're trying to push the Rodri Ballon d'Or. They're trying to push the Rodri Ballon d'Or agenda. And you see, the Rodri Ballon d'Or agenda would not work because if I repeat, if Rodri wins the Ballon d'Or, there will be problem in European football.
And that means
doesn't have the credibility.
And that means, God bless you. That was because it will lose its credibility.
Now, I feel like we'll get back to the Ballon d'Or conversation. But right now, my personal opinion, Rodri was never the player of the tournament.
My own player of the tournament is Cody Gakpo or Lamine Yamal.
Yeah,
I'll keep saying it.
I think keep saying it. Now, if you say you don't want to give it to Lamine Yamal, probably because he has won the young player of the tournament, then why you don't give it to Cody Gakpo? Give it to Cody Gakpo or Fabian Ruiz.
Yes.
Okay, if you want to give it to a Spaniard, give it to Fabian Ruiz.
Or let's say a finalist. Give it to Fabian Ruiz.
Give it to Fabian Ruiz. He has been that glue.
He has been exceptional.
So, for you, who is your player of the tournament?
My player of the tournament, for me, my player of the tournament is Cody Gakpo. I won't say because I'm a Barca fan, Lamine Yamal is the player of the tournament, because I have seen how Cody Gakpo actually carried the Dutch national team. You know, that's exceptional. Yeah. I'm amazed.
How about you, Prosper?
Fabian Ruiz. No debate. Yes, is my player of the tournament. I watched him at PSG and I was like, what is this guy doing? But when I watched him at the Spain national team, Fabian Ruiz was exceptional. He was the standard player for me in this tournament.
I think for me, I will just go for Lamine Yamal. I think for me, it's the player of the tournament. Yeah. He came to this tournament and it felt like everything was revolving around Lamar. It felt like everything was revolving around the ball.
The reason why I actually chose Cody Gakpo is that, it takes a lot of balls for you to put a team on your shoulder. A team like Dutch national team, in which it was very glaring when you were not able to play anything. The team is totally silent, because what actually happened against Netherlands England was because Cody Gakpo was not actually in the game. He was in the game, he was present physically, but when it comes to playing, he was absent in the game. So that was what actually happened. But so for something to actually show like that, he actually carried them from the group stage to the semi-final.
So your own player of tournament is Cody Gakpo.
Yes, it's Cody Gakpo.
Young player of the tournament, what are you going for?
Surely my boy, Yamal.
There is no debate about that.
So who is the manager of the tournament for you?
De La Fuente of the Spanish national. Coming from the under 23, and this is your first big job.
Okay,
That's
his first big job.
With the national team, I feel like he's the coach of the tournament.
I think he has coached their under 19.
Now he's the only manager to have won
under 19, 21,
under 21, and the senior team. Yeah, Euros.
I think that who is the unsung hero of this tournament?
Unsung hero of this tournament. Wow, I'll go for the Georgian striker.
The Georgian striker.
Yeah, the Georgian striker. Yeah, I've forgotten his name.
I don't know. I don't know his name.
You don't know his name. Yeah, his name is a bit. But yeah, I would go for him.
Who are you going for? The unsung hero.
I saw his start yesterday, and I actually felt bad for Romelu Lukaku because he was so unlucky. I know what I'm saying. It was so. I actually watched the Euros. It was so. No. What happened is that?
Are you trolling?
No, I'm not trolling, bro. What actually happened is that I saw a lot of chances in which he missed, and a lot of chances
VAR chopped off
some goals. You know, if all those chances was to be converted, we know what goals Romelu Lukaku should be at. So to me personally, that's my agenda. That's my unsung hero. I won't lie to you. Because he actually played, but you know, he was very, very unlucky because he couldn't convert his chances. I know what I'm saying, bro. I know what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
For me, I think my unsung hero of the tournament will just be Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz, prior to this tournament,
I felt bad for Lukaku, honestly, because he didn't convert his chances.
Prior to this tournament, I didn't know. I knew Fabian Ruiz was good, but I never knew he was this good.
Yeah.
I never knew he's that guy who is so very good at understanding what he needs to do at every phase of play. He can be effective in the defensive phase of play. In the offensive phase of play, he can be so effective as well. So I think for me, he's the unsung hero of the tournament. Who is the flop of the season, of the tournament?
To me, I don't actually like how Xavi Simons played. His team actually went far, but his contribution to the team is bad.
You can't call Xavi Simons a flop of the
tournament. I'm not saying it's really a flop.
It wasn't,
but the way he plays,
the way
he plays, his contribution to the Dutch national team, for real,
is not that clear. When you make a debate for Gakpo, you can also make a debate for Xavi Simons as one of the players who stepped up for the Dutch national team.
Yeah.
I would call him
bro. I actually watched this match.
So you are saying Xavi Simons is a flop?
Yes. I was even complaining when he was playing.
You heard him right. Would you agree Xavi Simons is the flop of the tournament? Who is the flop of the tournament?
Is somebody's unsung hero? Romelu.
But truth be told, we know how many chances Romelu Lukaku missed.
Yeah, you missed that makes you a flop as a striker. You mentioned earlier about Kai Havertz missing chances and being abysmal as a striker.
Bro, this chance is clearer. Bro, this chance is clearer. This chance is very clear.
For me, I think the flop of the tournament is some people's goats. Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, I know the deal.
Cristiano Ronaldo is the flop of the tournament. This man just came in to sell some aura for
West man.
I think
that your serious face.
the highlight of Cristiano Ronaldo's tournament was the cry.
Yes,
he was crying.
Yes,
so I think that's the highlight of his tournament.
Yes,
he didn't add anything. He didn't add anything to.
We can even call Dominic Szoboszlai one of the flops of the tournament.
Well, for his team, he actually tried for his team.
Who?
He actually tried for his team.
He didn't do anything for his team.
He did nothing.
In fact, can we call him a flop of the tournament? Nobody expected anything from him.
No. Unless you don't know Kenny in person.
No.
There was this certain agenda of Dominic Szoboszlai, Odegaard, blah blah.
No, I am.
So much is given, much is expected.
Now I am telling you that in a group where you have, I think they had Italy, Germany. They had Germany, they had Switzerland in their group.
Yes, they have Germany, they have Switzerland.
In a group where you have Germany, where you have Switzerland, would you expect an Hungary to qualify for the group? You won't expect.
Would watch this show and Abezi would remain.
You won't expect.
Would agree with me. The last time we had a conversation about this, you mentioned that Scotland going out of that group was not a shock for you.
It was
Your
not a
shock was Hungary getting out of that group.
Yes.
So now why are you being a two-edged
When Szoboszlai is out.
When Szoboszlai is out?
No.
I want to know.
No, what I'm saying, that day, if you could remember, it was out of all the 4 guys in the group, who shocked you that they who do you expect that they won't make it to the next round?
Yes.
And I said I'm picking a Scotland. Scotland is the weakest team of the 4 guys in the group.
Yes.
Now,
And I'm not surprised that they bowed out.
Scotland.
So this is not a case of Dominic Szoboszlai. I don't even watch the Hungarian national team because of Dominic Szoboszlai. This is a thing of, I am saying, out of those people that progress to the knockouts, the flop of the tournament is CR7. It didn't offer anything to the Portuguese national team.
If you are making a case of CR7,
the highlight,
you can make a case of Mbappe also.
The highlight,
Mbappe also, that's one of the flop.
If you even want to make a case for Kylian Mbappe, there was this there were assists that he made. He even scored a penalty. He scored a penalty, gave an assist.
That means we can open an agenda for Griezmann also.
Griezmann also, thank you. Griezmann also. Luka Modric also.
No, you can. These are wait. Being a flop of the tournament,
yes,
everybody will have their own agenda. Everybody will have their own flop of the tournament. You clearly said it now that Romelu Lukaku is the unsung hero. He said Romelu Lukaku is that flop of the tournament.
Yes.
So join us in the comment section. Who do you think is the flop of this tournament? Don't mind me. You don't necessarily have to be Cristiano Ronaldo. If you don't agree with
guys,
me,
before you come to conclusion, go and watch the Belgium match.
So who scored the goal of the tournament?
Jamal against England. That goal for a 16 years old. He was 16 years at that time. For a 16 years old, I've never seen something like that exceptional. So Yamal against
goal of the tournament.
I will go for Yamal. That's because at that particular stage, the pressure is high.
That's clutch.
For a young player to handle that pressure, to swallow that pressure, to score that kind of goal. That goal is a very big transition in Spanish.
Yeah, it was against France. Sorry, not against England.
So that's the goal of the tournament.
I think I'll go for that as well. Who is the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise I will also go for is this same Lamine Yamal, because everybody actually knew that the guy is going into the competition, but we never knew he's going to perform like this.
My biggest surprise was Croatia leaving early.
No, I think he said who or not team.
Whatever it might be a team that has surprised you, it might be a player that has surprised you. So what is the biggest surprise
for me? It's Croatia stepping out early. I never saw that coming. I never expected that.
So you feel Lamine Yamal is the big surprise to you?
Yes, everybody. I wasn't surprised as a Barca fan, but everybody all over the world were surprised that a 16 years old can play like this. So they don't actually believe he's going to perform like that.
I think for me the biggest surprise is the French national team. I expected a lot of things from them, being back-to-back World Cup finalists, coming into the Euros. I think I expected them to do better, but I was disappointed. I was very, very disappointed. So now let's create the team of the tournament. So I'll go for you first. Who is your goalkeeper of the tournament?
My goalkeeper of the tournament is Unai Simon. Yes.
Okay, your right back of the tournament?
My right back of the tournament is Dumfries.
Okay. Centre back?
My two centre backs will be between my centre back. I will have Virgil van Dijk and Maguire.
Okay. Your left back?
That will be Cucurella.
Okay. Your DM?
My DM Rodri. Okay.
Your CM?
My CM will be Jude Bellingham.
Okay. Your number 10 attacking midfielder?
Let me say I'll go for Jamal Musiala. Okay. Your left wing?
My
left wing is Cody Gakpo.
Your right wing?
My right wing is going to be Lamine Yamal.
Okay. And your striker?
Okay. My striker is going to be Alvaro Morata.
Decent team. So your goalkeeper of the tournament, Prosper?
The Georgian goalkeeper, Mamadash Vili. This is my goalkeeper of the tournament.
Okay, your right back?
My right back is Jules Koundé of France.
Your two centre back pairing?
Emerick Laporte and Maguire.
Okay. Your left back?
Marco Cucurella.
Your DM?
Just give it to Rodri.
Okay. Your central midfielder?
I'll go N'Golo Kante and Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your left wing?
My left wing, Nico Williams.
Your right wing.
Yemi Yamal.
And up there as a striker. There was no much really great strikers performance
really.
in this tournament. So I'll just give it to. I don't even know. I'll give it to the Georgian striker also. Yeah, the Georgian striker.
What's his name?
He plays for Metz. Mikwa Taze, something of that nature. I don't know. He had about 3 goals and 2 assists or whatever in the tournament. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, for my goalkeeper of the tournament, I think I will have to go for the Portuguese goalkeeper that bowed out.
Okay,
Thiago Costa.
I think he had one of the biggest goalkeeping highlights of the tournament.
This Costa.
Because I think he had the best goalkeeping highlights of it. Saving about 3 penalties.
That penalty, that was just all. Yeah, that was
saving. So for me, is the goalkeeper. The right back, I'm going for Cavaja. I love what he did in this tournament. Centre back, the 2 centre back, I think I will go for Laporte. And I'm going to go for Maguire of England. Left back, Marco Corella, the human hair guy. The DM, it has to be Rodri. And for my 2 midfielders, I'm going to go for Jamal Musiala. And I'll go for... I'm having a bit of headache. Okay, I'll go for Fabian Ruiz.
Okay.
And Jamal Musiala. And my left wing... I'll go for Nico Williams, my right wing, Lamar, and as a striker, there was no standout performance from all those strikers.
Yes.
So I am going to put a Cody Gakpo there as my striker. So that's my own team of the tournament.
Okay.
For me, that's my own team of the tournament. And on the scale of 1 to 10, just to rate the heroes.
We've rated.
You rated them. So you said you
3.5.
3.5. You said 5.
Yes.
Okay. So and
AFCON is better than it.
So
is better than Euros. I talk am.
So let's really do the Start.Sub.Sell edition, which is a little bit of headache. I'll give it to you 3 wonderful strikers. They are generational strikers in the English football. Micheal Owen, Wayne Rooney, and Harry Kane. You are a manager. You have to start one of them. You have to throw one of them on the bench, and sadly, one of them has to pack his bags and leave your team. So what will be your decision? Who are you starting? Who are you benching? And who are you selling? Harry Kane, Wayne Rooney, Micheal Owen. Let me start with Prosper.
I'll say Micheal Owen.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have a school of thought that a Ballon d'Or doesn't make you a better player than the next player. If you are using that yardstick, basically Micheal Owen is better than the likes of Luis Suarez, Thierry Henry, and the likes. So he's going. I'm benching Harry Kane, and I'll start the English Wayne Rooney. That's what I'll do.
How about you, Heytrip?
Because I didn't watch much of Micheal Owen. I'll put Micheal Owen on the bench because of his status. He actually won the Ballon d'Or, and I'm very certain for him to win a prestigious award like that, there is something. Have so good. He must have something.
He must have an incredible season.
So I'll start Harry Kane because of his goal scoring ability and his ability to play as a false 9, to the way he plays. And I'll say Wayne Rooney.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
That's a big call. That's a big one. You're selling Wayne Rooney.
Yes, I'll sell Wayne Rooney.
Wow, that's a big one. I think for me, I'll just start. I'll start Wayne Rooney because I'm of this opinion. I love strikers who are fighters. So I think Wayne can do that for me. He can score goals. He can play make for me.
I don't like strikers that cannot play make.
Wayne can actually play make for you as well. He can serve as a playmaker. He can score goals. I'm going to drop and Harry Kane on the bench. And sadly, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I have to throw Micheal Owen under the bus. Pack your bags and leave.
With your Ballon d'Or.
Throw your Ballon d'Or in the bag and leave my team.
There's somebody that believes Micheal Owen is not a world-class player.
Yeah.
There's actually somebody this show. I won't mention his name, but there's somebody who believes Micheal Owen is not a world-class player.
So let's move away from the Heroes. We move into another continent, the South American continent. The Copa America ended as well. And the Brazilian national team was shambolic to watch. They had a tournament to forget. What is the problem with the Brazilian national team?
We shouldn't expect less from the Brazilian national team because from the very start, the zeal, before, if you want to play Brazil, you have this kind of fear, right? You are playing the Brazilian national team, you are playing this, you are playing that. I don't know, maybe it's ego, maybe it's hardship on the land, in which when their players go into foreign lands, they start, misbehaving, or this kind of riches gets into their head or something. I can't explain what's really wrong with that team because they have these instruments. They are just like these advanced super eagles, which is England. They have this kind of instruments. They have the right players. They have top players. So I don't know what is actually wrong with the Brazilian national team because I won't lie to you. I'm not a big fan of Copa America or something like that. But Brazilian national team, they are a team whereby lacks of discipline and seriousness is what's really wrong with the team, in which I believe, because they have the instruments, they have the players, and I don't even know what is stopping them, actually.
And for me, I think the decline has been calling since. I think right after that 7-1 defeat to Germany at the 2014 World Cup, I think they hosted the tournament as well. I think the decline has been flashing them. They have not really paid a close attention to it. Because if back in those days,
yes,
you want to play a Brazilian national team, you have a Ronaldinho, you have a Ronaldo, you have Rivaldo, you have Zé Roberto, you have Roberto Carlos, you have Cafu. It's always a star-studded team. Right now,
you don't want to play against Brazil.
You don't want to play against them. Right now, I think Cafu said one thing back in the days. He said, the more our players keep going to Europe, the more it will be bad for the Brazilian national team.
Yes.
Now, these guys are going to Europe. They are learning a lot of style of football, this robotic style of football. Brazilians are known for their jogo bonito style. They have all the swagger, the mojo in them. They are so enjoyable to watch. But right now, most of these players are being shipped to European teams. Most of these European teams now, a lot of people are now going to the Pep school of thought. It's all about details. So instead of me to...
You don't have the ability to express yourself.
Yeah, instead of me to hold on to the ball for about 15 seconds, I have to hold on to the ball for like 5 seconds and give it to the next man. You understand? So I think that evolution of football as well affected the Brazilian national team. Maybe you can point out in the Brazilian national team that these are the world-class players that they have in their team.
I can point out.
But no, I'm coming. No, I'm not saying that they don't have world-class players. Don't get me wrong. There are world-class players there. But unlike back in those days, where you have almost all the lineup that are world-class players.
Yes.
Now in the team now, Bar Alisson Becker and Vinicius Junior, there is no world-class player.
Ederson of Man City is on that team.
Ederson doesn't start. Ederson doesn't start.
He's on the team.
He's on the team, but he doesn't start. I'm talking about their starting lineup right now. Bar Alisson Becker and Vinicius Junior. There is no single world-class player again in the Brazilian national team. Look at it. Would you call this Bruno Guimaraes a world-class player?
Rafinha,
no. Would you call Richarlison a world-class player? No. Would you call Rodrigo Paqueta? All these Danilo, you can't call them a world-class player. Marquinhos is not a world-class player. Gabriel of Arsenal is not a world-class player. So all these players, they are not world. So I think the Brazilian national team, they've lost that swagger and mojo in them. They are not threats to any national team again.
Now, I would come to dispute this fact because I believe there are countries that has heritage. There are countries that has legacy. Now, the drop-off is not just with the Brazilian national team. We don't longer watch the Zidane. We don't longer watch the Iniesta. We don't longer watch what we used to watch. We don't longer watch Pelu. Now we watch Gallagher, we watch McTominay. That is how massive football has dropped off. Now, the likes of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Martinelli, Paqueta, Bruno Guimaraes, all of them are doing well for their various clubs.
They are doing well, but they are not world-class players.
You don't need to be a world-class player.
Okay.
I mean, can you point out? You can't even point out 3 world-class players from the Spanish team.
They feel too comfortable going back to the national team.
You can't point out 3.
Yes, they always feel comfortable going back to national team.
But the Spanish national team, they have to go back to their status quo, which is the normal Spanish style of play.
Spanish style, yes.
Let's buy time. Let's be in possession of the ball. We go back now. I believe the Brazilian national team needs to go back to that. You said something about culture and legacy.
Yes.
Some teams are cultural teams. If you look at the German national team now, you imagine the fast football for German national team. Just imagine the German national team trying to play the controlled possession, keeping possession of the ball, all of that. is not what we know them for.
You know what I say?
I think Brazil needs to go back to that Jogo Bonito.
Yes, what I say about
the last Jogo Bonito set of attackers they have was Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, and arguably Vinicius. Anthony just forces it.
Yeah.
He didn't he forces it. Now, let's forget about Jogo Bonito.
Okay.
We are not here to talk about Jogo Bonito, but we are here to talk about their shambolic performance. This is a team that has Eder Militao, one of the best defenders in the world. They have a Gabriel Magalhaes, the same defender you did a video for, praising.
Yeah,
one of the best defenders in world football.
I praised him.
You have Marquinhos. Marquinhos is no longer elite. I've never rated Marquinhos. I feel like he's one of those overrated defenders. Yeah, he's in that team. Then you had other sets of players in those teams. You have the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, one of the best midfielders in Premier League. Douglas Luiz had an exceptional season. Lucas Paqueta has a great season. Savio of Girona is in that team. You have Vinicius, you have and all of that. This is a team that, on paper, with the quality of players they have,
yes, they can conquer the world.
Get to at least the finals.
Yes.
This is Brazil we are talking about. It's not about who starts or who is there. It's not about the matter of number of world-class players. If you are coming off the world-class player logic, there was a time in the Spanish national team you can point at least 10 to 7 world-class players in the team.
Now, I will come in place. Let me cut you short here. Now, if you look at the Brazilian national team now, bar Hendrick, there is no natural number 9 again that they have in the Brazilian national team. Richarlison is just a stubborn-headed number. He's just a wannabe number 9. He's not a number 9. This guy, Rodrigo of Real Madrid, wannabe number 9. He's not a number 9. Bar Hendrick, and we can actually say to some point, Hendrick is just enjoying the media PR.
Yes.
He hasn't really done a lot. So you look at the team now.
I think that was their last matches. Yeah, that was their last match. They said he had only 1 touch.
2 touches.
2 touches.
Now
the match.
No.
Hendrick, 2 touches.
Now look at an Argentina, for example. There's an Argentina who has a Lautaro Martinez. They have a Julian Alvarez. People who can kill off chances. Now, if you look at the Brazilian national team, you have Vinicius, you have Paqueta, you have Bruno Guimaraes. All these players, they will create those chances for you. Who's going to kill it off?
That comes to the question of what was the coach's selection? What do you have in mind when picking all of these players? Because you can't be coming up to a tournament, and the last Copa America, Brazil won. The final, the player that stepped up was Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
He won them that tournament.
Yeah.
Now, you can't be going into a tournament with Hendrick as your only number 9.
Yes.
I thought he called Cunha, the
Wolves guy.
The Wolves guy. This is Brazil, for crying out loud. I feel like they have strikers option. The coach just decided to play a blind eye to it. Now, if you can make a debate for the vocal point, but these players themselves fall short of expectations. Individually, if we are to put account, Vinicius, you can't be someone which they shout Ballon d'Or for, and you go to your national team and you play there.
Sorry for cutting you short. That's what I wanted to hear from you. See, let me tell you something. We have to have this kind of mindset.
Accountability.
Accountability is important, but we have to have this kind of mindset that a player is playing for the club side, is excelling well in the club side. We shouldn't expect millions and billions from him when he gets to the national team. The team is playing with in the club side is different from the team he's going to play with in the national team. This thing is really affecting Brazil these days. Since when they started pushing this Ballon d'Or agenda for Vinicius, they are expecting a lot from the guy. Someone even said something that if the team are not performing, can't you put the team on your shoulders?
And I shouldn't be like that.
So much is given, much is expected. Now, for a player like Vinicius Junior, which a lot of people believe, a school of thought, I've seen several school of thought on Twitter believe is the new Neymar, is better than Neymar. You should be doing what James Rodriguez did for Colombia,
but not to the extent of you putting the team on your shoulder.
I'm seeing Prosper as an agenda.
I'm not an agenda.
I noticed something about this last Copa America.
Yeah.
Anytime Brazil lose their match, the blame is always on Vinicius.
He's the star man.
Now,
he's the star man.
It shouldn't be like that.
Now,
if Argentina should lose a game, the first head you come for is Messi.
Now,
if Portugal, sorry to cut you. If Portugal should lose a game, if the first head you come for is Cristiano Ronaldo. When France stepped out of this tournament, everybody was questioning Kylian Mbappe's legacy for being compared to Thierry Henry.
Now you sat here a few minutes ago that I called Cristiano Ronaldo a flop.
Yes.
And you clearly said it that you won't believe that if you are placing that kind of logic for Vinicius Junior, he didn't step up. You should place that logic for Kevin De Bruyne. He didn't step up for Belgium as well.
I mentioned
Dominic Szoboszlai didn't step up for Hungary as well. Kylian Mbappe didn't step up for France as well.
Cristiano Ronaldo make a case for them.
Now you see, there are some times you need to understand the managers at the end of affairs in these teams. They have their own style of play. Their own style of play doesn't really match with that player's ability.
Yes.
It's the player's potential.
Three managers does not match with Vinicius' style of play.
No, we are not saying that. But what we are trying to say is that the team Vinicius is playing with, when he plays at Madrid, is different from Brazil. He has a lot of time to spend with his Real Madrid teammates. Just little time, just a month.
The team Messi plays with in the national team is different from the team he plays with at club side. This is what you have. This is what makes you an exceptional talent.
That is why I am saying.
Then if you are making a defense case for Vinicius Junior, then we have to make a case that is an overrated player.
No. Understand me. This Argentina that you are saying.
Yes.
They have always been failing. And
that means you have to tell us that Kane is an overrated player.
Let me get him somewhere. This Argentina's team have always been poor prior to Lionel Scaloni.
Yes.
Scaloni came as the manager and he changed everything. You cannot always.
Now I want to ask you.
Now
during their poor eras, was Messi stepping up or not?
Messi was trying his best.
What is Vinicius doing?
He was trying.
What is Vinicius doing?
At a point, do you remember that Lionel Messi said it that he cannot take his kids to Argentina because they are always on his neck?
Yes.
Messi was stepping up.
As of 2020, now Messi didn't have anything for Argentina.
Yeah.
He had nothing. But he was stepping up. But that is what I'm saying.
You have to blame coaches too as well.
Yes. They are blaming coaches.
You know the most painful part? I'm not a Real Madrid fan. I don't like Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't like Vinicius Junior personally. But every time Brazil loses their match,
that is what it takes to be
blame.
You are the face of the team. Neymar is not there. Neymar is not there. When Brazil stepped out of World Cup, Neymar was the person being blamed.
The fact that Vinicius Junior is now the face of the team. Yes. Should we now blame all the losses on this boy?
I'm not blaming the losses on him. I'm saying, bro, much is given, much is expected. Now we saw a Cody Gakpo carry the Dutch national team. We saw James Rodriguez carry the Colombian national team. We've seen Nico Williams.
I will tell you one thing now. Yeah. Prior to this tournament, there are some people who belong to the school of thought that Cody Gakpo is not a good player enough. He's not good enough.
I'm also in the school of thought.
I will tell you one thing. Now,
that school of thought.
A club, Jurgen Klopp came out and he apologized to the entire world that I tried an experiment with Cody and it didn't work. I played him as a left central midfielder. I tried it and it didn't work. He was playing him as a number 10. Now, Cody was played as a winger. He's a natural winger. He was playing for the national team under Ronald Koeman. Koeman didn't play him as a midfielder. Koeman was playing him in his favorite position,
which is the left wing.
Now, Prosper, you have to understand that there are managerial instructions as well in the national team.
Yes.
Now, there are a lot of managerial instructions as well.
Dean is the previous manager before now, the Fluminense manager. One of his core tactics has always been
no tactics.
Yeah. Express yourself, enjoy yourself. Yeah. And even under that same manager, this same Vinicius did not flourish. So what are you telling me?
If you are saying that he's not the only one to be blamed. He's not the only one. He's not the only one who is going to kick the ball.
Yes, he's not the only one.
He's not the only one who is going to kick the ball.
That's the most painful part.
If we are going to do that, we have to blame the likes of Neymar Jr. because they never did anything.
Cristiano Ronaldo said something. He said they can only hate you for two things. They can hate you because you are not good. They can hate you because you are too good. That guy is just being hate. They hate you because he's too good.
It's not hate.
Prosper is
I don't hate.
He's an agendalist.
I want to ask a question.
He's always like trying to bring him down.
I'm not trying to bring him down.
You are trying to bring it down.
I want to ask a question. If you are being set up for a Ballon d'Or standard, if you are for the standard of football we've seen over the years, even Robert Lewandowski with Polish national team has nobody. But he still steps up. The little he can, he carries them on his shoulder. You can see Lewandowski is doing this. when Ronaldo won the Euros with Portuguese national team, they were not this star-studded as they were. Now, the Argentina you were talking about, even during when Maradona coached them, Messi, you could see the light in Messi that, oh, this is an exceptional talent. Even the Brazilian national team, under the previous manager, when Neymar is on the pitch, when Neymar is there, you can see this guy is there. You can't say same for Vinicius, brother.
Now, the thing is, I won't blame Vini for what is happening.
Okay.
I will still go back to that managerial instruction.
Would you use the managerial instruction as a case for Cristiano Ronaldo not being the flop of the tournament for you?
Well, what I said it on this show that I've said it on this show that he was starved of crosses. He was starved of chances.
Which we actually blamed on Robert Martinez.
He didn't do anything. That was why I called him the flop of the tournament.
Exactly, I'm saying for Vini also. Exactly, I'm saying for Vini also. No, if you are using a yardstick for a certain player because of the standard they have set for themselves, that same yardstick should be based on Vinicius Junior.
So you expect Vinicius Junior to be the only one doing everything,
scoring goals,
scoring
goals,
you can't off the light.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
A certain manager might come into the Spanish national team and will make all the likes of Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams look like a poor player.
Are three managers that bad?
No, I am. Do you know that?
I agree with you. But I'm asking, are three managers that bad? And one of those managers went to the Club World Cup finals.
Okay, now look at it. There is a Kane Dalglish, Bernard Rodas. These two guys, Jonathan Anderson worked under them. Anderson was never player. Was never
the real Anderson.
It
was Ederson.
And here came a certain man from Germany. He turned him into
that was what a
powerhouse.
One episode of this podcast, that was what I said about Darwin Núñez. You remember I said something about Darwin Núñez. I don't know, maybe you can recollect that. Darwin Núñez is good, but it might not be too good on that club.
Now look at a certain Darwin Núñez. He flourishes under Marcelo Bielsa at Uruguay. When it comes to the Liverpool team, he crumbles. Sometimes I know we expect a lot of things from all these guys. If you are saying that this Ballon d'Or case, even the likes of Jude Bellingham, you can say that is this the guy you are going to give the Ballon d'Or? Even the likes of Jude Bellingham, you can argue, you can place a debate about it. Since Vini has been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, since this shout about
of propaganda,
a lot of propaganda,
this is not a propaganda.
To pull the boy down.
No, I'm not trying to pull anyone down. My statement remains: to whom much is given, much is expected.
We know.
You've set a bar of this level. You go to your national team and you perform of this level. You don't expect me to hold you accountable.
Now, I want to ask you a question.
The performance should be spread all over. The blame should be spread all over his teammates. That's what we are trying to say.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Harry Kane was a German Bundesliga top goal scorer.
Yeah.
And for his national team, he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he's one of the Golden Boot winner in this tournament.
Golden Boot winner, come on. We all know he's a striker. He will score. That's his primary assignment.
Yeah.
But
if you win his primary assignment,
we expected more.
What more?
We expected more. We expected more from
possibly
Harry
you think
Kane.
Vinicius is overrated because you can't tell me when you set a standard for yourself and you go to another team, you can't replicate what you are doing. You are just like Stockport.
If you are going to use that, definitely definitely Kevin De Bruyne is overrated. That's one. Kylian Mbappe is overrated. That's
if that suits your agenda.
No, that's where you are coming from.
You are trying to.
That's where you are coming from.
What you're trying to say is that
you said
if you are performing in your club and you are not performing in your national team,
that means you are overrated.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
And what I'm telling you is, if you are making him a god-like level, like you are making it.
Okay.
Now you are going to your national team, and we are not seeing a glimpse of that god-like level. Then you are possibly overrated.
Okay, Kevin De Bruyne is overrated then.
Fair enough if you say so.
Oh, according to Prosper Westman.
Fair enough if you say so.
According to
you heard it from DFK.
No.
According to you heard it from DFK. I never called Kevin De Bruyne. If I want to continue, never heard Kevin De Bruyne from my mouth.
We'll let the fans talk about that. What do you guys think has contributed to this fall of the Brazilian national team? And we are talking about those overrated guys. There was a guy that at a point, people thought he was overrated. He had a decent 2014 World Cup campaign. He won the Golden Shoe, scored the goal of the tournament at the 2014 World Cup. James Rodriguez. He got a transfer to Real Madrid. Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy is just a tournament wonder." And
Baba
now,
is back to Europe.
Another tournament wonder.
And now
this is what you call
he
a star man carrying his team, not some Jojo Bonito nonsense. This is what you call a star man carrying his team.
This guy is not doing well in his club side though.
When last did you watch his national? He's watching in the Qatar League.
That means James Rodriguez is better than Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, you can say so fair. Fair enough.
School your own school of thought.
You said he's not doing well in his club side. I'm going to check his club side.
James Rodriguez is a kind of player whereby he has the love of his national team in his heart. When he plays for his national team, I feel jealous of him because he scored a goal. He scored a goal for Colombia. This current Copa America, that goal, I think someone actually showed me the goal. That goal was an exceptional goal.
I think he's an outright player of the tournament.
Yes,
he's a player of the tournament.
He's a tournament player.
This is what
he's a tournament player.
Yeah, this is what you call carrying a team.
He did so very, very well.
Yes.
Everybody was, before the Copa America started, people were like, yeah, who is James Rodriguez? If you are going to say someone who carried the Colombian national team, people will point to Luis Diaz.
Yes. And kudos to the coach also. Prior to the game against Argentina, he has not lost 27 games in a row. Since he took over the Colombian national team, the lose against Argentina is the first game.
I think it's 28. 28 match.
The loss against Argentina is his first loss as a manager in the Colombian national team.
So they have been on a very wonderful run.
James Rodriguez is the kind of player whereby he always waits for an international game to come up, advertise himself, sell anything he's selling. So right now, I even had the news right now. He has been linked to Atletico Madrid. Definitely he's coming back to Europe. So that's the kind of player he is. So, but what I actually be is the kind of player I really love because he plays so well. He understands the game. So I always wish him well. If he's coming back to Europe this time, I expect him to
Baka.
No. I expect him to perform, or rather, maybe he can go to Arsenal. He can go to Arsenal. So he can always.
We don't do old men. You can go to United. They like old men.
But is this kind of player whereby everybody actually needs in their national team? He's one of the big leaders. I don't know the kind of contribution he actually puts in behind in the dressing room, but I know anything he's putting in. He's always positive.
Vinicius.
And I want you to do something for me. I want you to rank all these. We've had 3 continental tournaments. Recent time now, we've had the AFCON, which was a very wonderful tournament, by the way. We've had the Copa America and the Euros. 3 continental tournaments. I want you to rank it from worst to the best.
To my own perspective, the worst tournament I would say is because I don't see Copa America as a competition whereby they have this kind of much fighting spirit. They let go easily. The worst is going to be the Copa America.
Okay.
Followed by the Euros.
Okay.
The best competition so far so good, is the AFCON because of the dramatic comeback that actually came with the like of Ivory Coast, and there was a lot of interesting games in which people were even surprised because a lot of underdogs actually came up in which they actually performed, the likes of Cape Verde, all this kind of thing. Competition is all about surprise. We always want to, a very tough competition. We want to see an underdog being up there. We want to see the big guns being down there. You know, a lot of surprises here and there and everything. So far so good. To my own perspective, AFCON is the best, followed by Euros, and the worst is going to go to Copa America.
I think for me, I'll just go with you because why I would say the Copa America is a very bad competition is the security.
Yeah,
the security is shambolic.
Davidinas was fighting,
and I am so scared that all the entire world will be traveling to the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 2026 for the World Cup.
They will tighten the security.
A country whereby the security is so vulnerable that Dawonis have to jump into the stands
to protect his family. To protect his family.
That's very, very bad. That is very, very terrible. You don't do that.
To protect his family.
You don't do that. If that should happen in Africa, I know what the headlines would have been. That the Africans are so barbaric.
We are not
organized and all of that. And for the Euros, I think there were a lot of disappointments at the Euros. There were a lot of teams that really disappointed us. So I'm going to place the Euros second, just like you did, and I will put the AFCON up there on the charts.
In terms of organization, I'm putting Copa America last because Marcelo Bielsa came out and he said Scaloni complained about some certain issues, and the officials, the sponsors, told him to shut up about it. They were trying to like silence it. It just tells you about how dirty
the CONMEBOL organization
is. And you look at, why would you take your traditional tournament to another country to host? This is not what you are. This is not who you are. Look at the final. Yeah, the final people had to stay up here in Nigeria till I slept off.
Yes.
I slept off.
That's right. United States is a Northern American country, and this is South America.
So for me, they have to be last. Copa America 2024 is the worst. Then, just for the sake of branding, marketing, I'll put Euro second, because I feel like the only thing that has more than the AFCON is branding marketing, and the commercial part of it. But in terms of entertainment, memes, vibes, surprises, everything, pure football, no inverted fullback, no inverted winger, no ball playing goalkeeper.
So pure.
Onana was benched, nothing like
Onana was benched.
Everything was I can still sit down here and remember that coach reaction. There
like this.
Everything,
it was like this. The man didn't say, and that was one of the memes of the tournament.
Yes. AFCON 2024 is one to never forget.
Yeah, one to never forget. And that's a blueprint for all that continental tournament.
Yes. Well, right now, we never expected anything less than that.
Yeah.
So we just have to go up.
Kudos to the Ivorian Football Federation. A very well
beautiful
organized
story also. Best loser becoming the winner.
It's so poetic. And the likes of Sebastian Alla coming back from cancer, it's so very wonderful. So let me ask you, which player do you wish had an injury-free career? If there are some players that you feel sorry for them, that I wish you were never injured.
Jack Wilshere. What would have been? Because the English national team, England as a whole, really produce those kind of breed of midfielders. That is why you see Kobe Mino shouts so much, because it's once in a lifetime thing for them.
I think Kobe Mino is the closest to Jack Wilshere they've seen.
So, and that performance against Barcelona,
it says a lot. For me, it's and the way he silenced Xavi and Iniesta in their prime, and it was really good. What about you?
Sorry, I think you have to help me with this. He actually plays for Newcastle. He uses left.
Okay, it's in Benafa.
Wow. Anytime I watch him, I'm always astonished because I like the way he plays.
Yeah.
But injury actually ruined his career. Things up for him. So I actually wished he could have an injury-free career. He would have gone places because that's the person I'll choose. That's the person I'll go with.
Okay, for me, I think it will just be Thiago Alcantara. I really wished he could really stay injury free. I think the only time he played over a 30-game season was the time Bayern won the UCL. That was the only time he played above 30 games in season. So I think if he had not been injured, I think we'll be ranking him in the list of all-timers. So for me, it will be
at which table?
You want to push me to an agenda now?
No, at which table? Let me tell you what.
The thing is that a fully fit Thiago Alcantara and with an injury-free career will be ahead of Toni Kroos.
In the on-time conversation.
Yes, 100%.
I'll go with him.
100%.
For you.
100%.
I will leave it to the comment section to be slayed. I will leave it to I'll leave it to the comment section to be slayed. That is all I have to say. That was what I wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes I sit down in my room and when I phantom everything, Toni Kroos is good.
Talking about being that deep line playmaker, being that ruthless guy that can actually go for the ball, is that ruthless guy. And even, there are some times when you be in tight spaces. I'm not sure Toni Kroos can get out of tight spaces like Thiago Alcantara. Thiago Alcantara will roll you like a Cuban. Like Liverpool fans will always think, he will roll you like a Cuban. This guy is aesthetically pleasing to watch. He will give you those slight breaking passes that Toni Kroos will give you. Set play, he can give you as well.
He knows how to resist press.
He's press resistant. So I have not seen anything that Toni Kroos will have ahead of him if he had an injury-free career. I'll leave that to the comment section because somebody's
aesthetic bias.
It's
not aesthetic bias. No problem.
For me, I think it will be up there ahead of Toni Kroos. Which player is the worst player to play for your club? You are a Barcelona fan. Which player you don't want to ever see that kind of player in your team again?
The worst player to ever play for my club is Ousmane Dembele. I never don't want to see him again because he actually.
No, you know where the hate is coming from. When he scored and celebrated, you see that hate? That hate is forever there. No, it's not about what he did for Barcelona. It's what he did against Barcelona.
It's very painful. You actually told me to mention one because I have a couple of. I have some. I can tell you some. I have the likes of Ousmane Dembele. I have the likes of Thomas Fameli. Don't let me start mentioning names. But Ousmane Dembele is one of. I don't want to see him again because he spent most of his years, most of his career
on the injury bed.
Most of his career on the doctor's bed. Yes, on the doctor's bed.
For someone who supports Arsenal, this thing I can get to this board and fill it with a whole lot of things. That is a terrible. That is a terrible player that been. But give me the honor to call just two. Mustafi. Sheldrock Mustafi.
Socrates.
And no, not even Socrates. I have a special sentiment for Socrates because I felt like he's not as bad as people placed him to be for Arsenal. There is this certain man we got from free transfer from Juventus, Stefan Liechtensteiner. Oh my God!
The man was an old man before he came to you.
Bro!
Grandpa.
Bro!
On a side, grandpa.
A man on wheelchair can defend better than that man.
You know what? I was scared when I heard about Wisha.
I think for me as a Liverpool fan, if you are a Liverpool fan watching this, you will know that Liverpool have been through a lot. I remember the Roy Hodgson era. I can actually draw a full first 11 of 4 footballers that have played for Liverpool. But there is this time.
Maybe you want to go for John Josevi.
No, there is this standard very poor footballer. Krijakos.
Krijakos. Even you abuse that guy then. So there was a guy I was watching football one day. One guy was telling me Krijakos actually looks like a ram.
I don't ever want to say Krijakos.
He looks like a ram.
Liverpool shirt ever again. And that just to close the podcast today. Right now, Vinicius Junior did have a wonderful tournament. Jude Bellingham, we will say let's give him out of 10, we're giving a 5 over 10 tournaments for Jude Bellingham as well. Do you think Rodri should be considered for the Ballon d'Or?
If you are making a case of Rodri, Lautaro Martinez should be there. This is the Scudetto winner and Italian Serie A top scorer.
Copa America
winner and top scorer. Performed the final, turned up to the final when Messi was on the bench weeping. He turned up and he stepped up and he's the top. So if you are making a case for Rodri, you should also make a case for Lautaro Martinez. That is all I have to say because it's just still between Jude and Vinicius. That Rodri thing is just shenanigans from the English press trying to push their players.
And I will have to put this out there. I think the just two concluded continental tournaments. I think we have to name them the cries of legends. Ronaldo cried, Messi cried.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to name it Tears of Legends. So what would you say about it? Should Rodri be considered for the Ballon d'Or?
It's written crystal clear. Even the blind can feel it. That Bellingham should be the top man for the Ballon d'Or. We actually understand what the agenda, because I said it the other time that I understand the agenda they're trying to push. In which it doesn't, to me, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't make any meaning. I don't want to say sense. It doesn't make any meaning to me. You trying to push the agenda for Rodri to be in the Ballon d'Or race. We all know this. It should be between Bellingham, Vinicius Junior. Those are the two strong contenders. So I don't know why. Maybe to me, Rodri is invisible. Is invisible in the list, so
you can't see me.
There. I can't see.
So let's put it out there to you guys. With Vinicius Junior not having a very good Copa America tournament and Jude having a mediocre European campaign, would you say Rodri should be given the Ballon d'Or? Let's know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for watching this episode of the podcast. If you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube page, make sure you tap the subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell notification icon so that when we drop an episode of the podcast, you'll be the first person to know. And make sure to like this page, share this video to your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about football or nothing.
And also watch out for the summer because a whole lot of tactical analysis for the new signings. We'll be dropping on the YouTube channel. So just watch out, subscribe so you get the notification.
You don't want to miss out on the channel, guys. So thank you very much for being a part of this episode today. So I am signing out. My name is Kane, your favorite host on this podcast, Football or Nothing, and I'm signing out with Prosper Westman. I think he has given you a lot of controversial takes today. And I'm signing out with Heytrip as well. So till we see you guys on the next episode of the podcast, stay cool.
Micheal.